Welcome to OWAD Today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue the last character of this week that looks somewhat like the character we checked out yesterday, Mo. Today, pronounced totally different, meaning totally different. Even if they may share some part of it, a similar look, but it came from very different sources. Okay, this is 寡. I translate it as alone. And the most frequently used meaning of this 寡 in Chinese is 寡妇, means widow. So widow implied alone. And in Chinese history, the emperors or the top ruler of the country often refer to themselves as 寡人, like I'm an alone person, because there's no pairing, no peer to that one ruler. It's peerless. So it's alone in that sense. Okay, how this alone was created? Well, this starts from the head image. I covered that like years ago, and that's a very interesting way for Chinese to describe a big-headed person. So these two lines basically is the body, stick figure, two sticks. And then everything else, this complicated thing, is the head. Okay, how the head was described? Actually, Chinese use the center of the face, which is the nose here. This line symbolizes this nose bridge, I guess, and then two verticalized nostrils. So instead of having two nostrils like this, it got verticalized, I guess, to save space. And so that's the center of the face here. Then you see the boundaries or the edges of the face. So just like drawing a circle, Chinese just draw the center and then the boundary to give you the full thing instead of filling out everything else on that face, because for language to abstract things, that will be information overload. It will be a drawing, a portrait. It's not abstract language. So by abstracting every other features, we just give you the center of the face and then the boundary of the face to show you that's the whole head. Why is it big-headed? Because the body here, it's too small in relative to the head imagery. Big-headed. And then at the bottom, we have a knife image here. This knife got two edges, but normally we just cut with the bottom side here. And this is the handle of the knife. And because this two-legged, big-headed person is standing on top of that, it's stacked up, it's connected, so it kind of looks confusing. It's one of the, I guess, it's not that common, because normally if it's a stacked up imagery made from two different radicals or components of the language, it got a certain separation to show you there's two things. But over here, it's connected. Okay, so we have the knife symbol and the two strokes on each side that give you the visual sense of cutting something into two pieces. And that's 分 separation, big-headed separation. Okay, it could get complicated from here because there were different theories in the past by scholars who studied the language and said this big-headed and divide or separation was the ancient practice of head count and pay your tax. So it's a type of tax paying. And this 分付, this separation of your tax paying, almost, I guess, equivalent to today's head of household. And then you have dependents, right? And 分付 would be separation of that dependent from your tax form. And then that person kind of separate from your, the same book of the relationship with you, taxpayer or tax unit, and the government. So then from this splitting, it gives you the sense of, oh, now you have more headcounts to be taxable or like individual taxpayer status. So that's my understanding of what this imagery is about. But this head, okay, big head, and separation eventually means widow. And I guess we can almost romanticize this word by saying, okay, this is separation of husband and wife. And this wife, after the passing away of the husband, get big-headed, meaning a lot of emotional, like a grief or trauma even, or the sense of feeling lost in that head. So it's big-headed and from this separation. So that under this house, so this within this household, it got separated. Or from the tax separation point of view, that I guess that two-person husband and wife unit now turned into one unit of tax paying. In either case, this means left alone. Used to be partner, now it's separated. Okay, we have 寡妇. So this is the widow. 妇 is woman with a duster. That's the behavior expectation back then. Domestic work expected on woman, so or wife. So that's 寡妇. That's left alone, paying your tax alone. All right, 寡淡. Here we're talking about the taste. It's so bland, like tasteless. So I guess it's almost like you lost your desire, your ambition, your motivation, your will to live, if you say, and then you kind of lost your sense of taste, and everything turns into this bland taste. And that specifically means it's not salty, it's not savory. And 寡 alone, it's almost like the sensory stimulus over there is not that much. It's you're dining alone and you're tasting this non-savory taste, watery, I guess, if you will. And that's the kind of a sense of you lost your appetite, or the food itself is bland. So 寡妇, singular person. Widow, 寡淡, the taste, non-tasty or non-savory taste. Okay, 寡欲, 欲 is the desire. So here, because left alone, because singular taxpayer status, I guess, in the sense of you and the government, it's one-on-one now. You no longer have a partner to form as one unit, right? So that, I guess, reduce the desire as a whole, like 欲 is the desire in general. In Chinese, translate all kinds of desire as 欲. So 寡欲, it's a status after being alone. Then the sense of desire to, I guess, live a more vibrant, like high spending, high activity, high energy kind of life was reduced. Like everything is low energy, low spending, low desire status. So that's 寡欲. So here I'm showing actually a curious person exploring and showing a beam of light over here. It's not exactly alone in a sense, because apparently somebody is taking a picture behind this person, right? So it's not exactly alone. But it gives you the sense of this vast space over there, and this one person facing, especially at nighttime, right? You see the whole outer space. You get to see beyond the sky level. You see deeper there, and the sense of being alone there. That's 寡. Thank you for your time. See you another day.